Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Some dreams stay dreams, and some dreams come true. Hello, my name is Michael Jagdao. I'm a headhunter launching startups with the Syndicate. I want to welcome you to another episode of the AI Deep Dive, only on DeOrganized Media, broadcast by Bitcoin Live DB. Again, my name is Michael Jagdao. I'm a headhunter launching startups with the Syndicate, and on today's show with Peace Love Music and GPSC, we're going to show you what can happen if you take the conversations we've had over the last 7 episodes and actually implement them in real life. Over the past 7 episodes, what we've been talking to you about is how we might create a chatbot, how we might create an agent, how we might give a synthetic being a wallet with the ability to execute verbs, actions, negotiations, and transactions, how we might do all of those things. But we would be wasting your time if we weren't eating our own dog food. Is that fair? We'd be wasting your time if we weren't eating our own dog food. And so on today's show, we're going to be showing you the type of social engagement that you can generate with these synthetic beings. I did not expect these synthetic beings to have the effect from a social media engagement perspective that they're having. But here we are, where they say the value of precedence is waning. We're going to talk about agents, what it's like to get them live, what it's like to have them outperform all of your own team's social media metrics, what it might be like to go live on TikTok with a shop. And we're also going to talk about the Manib meeting that happened yesterday on Spaces and what came out of that, some observations from that. And finally, we're going to end off with a very technical discussion on how to 20 to 100x your interfacing with AI. And it's a topic that is not being discussed widely, and that has resulted in a paper that we have now published. So, peace, love, GPSC. Welcome. Thanks for this.
What's up, Michael?
What's going on?
In and out. But what's up, GP? How are you guys doing today?
Right side of the bars, right side of the ground, as they say.
How are we doing? Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing good.
Where would you like to begin?
Your rodeo, man. Wherever you want to take us.
They do have a Calgary rodeo, huh?
Congratulations on getting rid of Trudeau.
Oh, is that what happened?
I think he resigned yesterday.
Did he? I mean, is it really resigning if you've been a dictator for 10 years? Sorry.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, resigning from what?
Abdicating.
You see how words change things? Right? Trudeau resigned. No. Resigning is what happens when you fail after like the 11th month. Making way for your next successor is what happens after you give up the throne. 10 years. Right? You don't have to know a lot about politics. Imagine Donald Trump's in power for 10 years and he abdicates the throne to J.D. Vance. Is he resigning? No. Well, what do I know? I'm just an H-1B, right?
What's the B for?
Huh?
What's the B for?
Buoyancy.
Oh.
We have to be able to float to get across the water.
It's important. Actually. It's important. Maddie,
you guys bring out the worst in me, eh? The thing is, people often say, like, hey, Mike, stop saying that. I'm like, these guys are setting me up.
Setting you up for what?
What does the B stand for in H-1B? You're not all about peace, are you?
I was just curious, actually.
I know.
I
can't help myself.
Honestly, I was thinking of a different derogatory term that's more female-oriented.
Where's Stu when you need him, huh?
Where is Stu? Where is Stu?
Oh, my God.
He is
stepping on a plane to go back to Italy.
Oh, I didn't know he was traveling.
Yeah. You know him, right? He's crisscrossing Europe from Switzerland to Italy, as you do. He's quite the globetrotter.
Yes, well.
But Manib.
That's a little hoity and toity that way.
So we had the conversation with Manib yesterday. How do you feel that went? What did you observe? What did you like? What didn't you like? What would you change, and how would you change it for the next one?
So it went about as I had expected, the space itself. And what I was hoping to get out of it has kind of started to develop, to be honest. Although it's not quite what I was imagining, it does seem a step in the right direction. So what I observed, so the first thing I observed that the court entities, Manib and the other people that are involved that were participatory in conversations around recently, they don't seem worried. That was one read that I got. They don't seem concerned. I think that a lot of what's going on is that ecosystem feels very. Um, a lot of people in the ecosystem aren't they aren't as aware. They don't have the same security in what's being developed because they're not there. They're not getting the information. They don't know what's going on in the room. The core devs seem pretty confident. Actually. They don't seem nervous. The core devs, the core entities don't seem to be concerned that there's a problem, that they're not reaching where they need to be. Um, they've acknowledged that they can do better with communications, and there are channels being developed right now where we're getting more integration with community leaders, media creators, and members of the core entities, representatives of the core entities, in a Telegram group right now, which is really broad. Actually, it's much broader than I was expecting. Um, but I do think that it's it's a huge step in the right direction. Actually, I think that I'm not sure how it's going to go. Like what I was actually proposing or suggesting was a slightly more uh, condensed group that can kind of be a conduit. This seems like a broader group, but I think at the end of the day, it's really just about getting everyone on as much of the same page as possible and then working together to kind of figure out what the messaging should be, what the community needs to know, letting them know what the community is saying and thinking, and just making sure that there's more overall communication between the different groups involved. Um, which I think is great. I really do think that that's at the end of the day, I think it's a huge step in the right direction. Is everyone satisfied with it? No. Are there a lot of people that were frustrated with how it went? Yes. I didn't think that. So the problem's not getting solved by an AMA with need. I don't think there's a bad thing with doing them. I think that's actually a great step also. But I think we need more than that. I think that where the medium is and where we are in things, it made it actually happened exactly what I was expecting to happen. There's a lot of people that wanted to make a lot of points and ask a lot of questions, and also we all kind of draw on when we're talking about what the problems are and we're trying to bring that to the top brass. We can only draw from examples from our own experiences. So you're going to talk about what you're working on in that aspect, in that situation. Um, but I don't blame anybody for doing that because that's where you're coming from, right? That's what you're bringing. So while it was frustrating for some people we didn't get to all the questions we wanted to ask. One of the questions that got left out, right, was where I forgot to bring this up on the news this morning. I was going to. I just been there's so many conversations going on about so many different things right now. It's crazy. Um, there is so one of the things people ask a lot. I've heard it from many places. Where do new devs coming into the ecosystem go to find um, information about stacks and how to actually learn clarity and get started in building? If you go actually to the stacks.co page, and there's a tab that says Start Building, and then there's a bunch of resources. Well, first there's a bunch of reasons and information about it, but there's a bunch of resources on there. If you scroll down the page, there's 3 ways to get started. It gives you, start with the basics of stacks, learn to build a full stack app, get paid to build your app. There's actually opportunities to get paid for developing on stacks, and then a bunch of tools. So there is a starting point for a knowledge base or to get access to the knowledge base and what's building on stacks. And now, as part of that group being created, I asked that question in that group because I wasn't sure. That's something I've been hearing from a lot of people. And there is actually factually a place to direct devs to get started. Now we know what it is. So now we can kind of spread that around a little bit more. And it's stacks.co/build/get-started And I'll actually I'll share
Yeah.
that. I'll share that link
So
sometime.
before I ask a GPSC to comment, peace, love. I'm going to say a few statements and let me know if they're too overboard. What we have is a failure to communicate.
We
Failure to
don't.
communicate.
I don't think we have a failure to communicate, but I think we have
There
an
are
opportunity for
instances of communication breakdowns.
an
Wouldn't you say?
opportunity for better communications. So I
Wouldn't you
don't
say
think that it
there?
was even a communications breakdown. I think it was just a lack of awareness that there was there was pieces missing and or a need for more communication. I don't
Sure.
think it wasn't a breakdown. There were efforts being made to communicate. They weren't getting they weren't being distributed enough or broadly enough.
Okay, so I'll say the next statement, which is what we have is an opportunity to make the invisible visible.
We have an opportunity to get more
Yeah.
more information out to the community earlier, and also information back from the community up up the chain to the developers, so that they're getting feedback and they're getting regular feedback, and they're getting feedback earlier in the process so it can be applied differently.
GPSC, what do you think? How you feeling about all this? You going to XRP now? What's going on?
Um, yeah, dude. I'm selling my bags and moving over to a little bit of Solana, a little bit of X. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think that um, now the people that are up the ladder know community feels this way. So now it's about taking action and seeing what comes from these conversations.
On the taking action part, one of the things that often gets proposed is that there are groups created to make sure that information is disseminated. Maybe it's the AI in me, but I believe that large language models are kind of well suited to a task like this. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm biased.
These chatbots definitely have a place in fixing the communication barrier. Like there's just like they can run
Michael, are you
for 24 hours a day.
Michael, are you hearing a crackle on GPs?
I am hearing a touch of a crackle, yeah. Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop.
I think your volume might be a little loud.
Oh, is it?
Not you,
Maybe
Mike. Not you, Mike.
Okay.
Better now.
It's
actually popping a bit.
Yeah, it was good earlier.
Let's see if we can fix. I don't mind. It's important. I want people to know in the future, what GPS said.
About now? Is that better?
Still cracking.
Do you have an input volume? Where is it set, GPSC? It used to happen on my mic too, by the way. So.
And mine.
Yeah, I'm playing around within Restream right now.
I have a feeling it has to do with the relationship of our volumes together. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's probably that the input mic volume is clipping.
GPSC, try saying something again.
Yeah, what's it sound like now? Is it still crackling?
Yeah, it is still crackling. Are you able to turn your microphone all the way down? We can do it. Live troubleshooting.
I'm getting a lot of air in the background too, so I don't know if is there a mic input volume on your computer?
We're fixing stuff live. That's how it works. DeOrganized media. DeOrganized.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. This is all we're still just building. We're
No, believe me,
building a
sound.
plane in the air.
If you've ever been a roadie, you'll know that sound checks for bands are yet theoretical.
Matty Dispro says it could be an issue in the wire itself, like a signal connection issue, which also could be
And
like it's just kind of coming in and out a little bit.
It's all good. So,
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
So I don't have a microphone like connected. This is like straight input from my voice to a laptop.
Right.
Huh. I wonder if it's maybe it's a bandwidth issue. You're just having it could just be honestly, I get stuff with it. It could be a bandwidth issue because not your bandwidth, but just a general issue with the internet connection. Because there's it's I've noticed like when you're in spaces.
Oh, what if we did this? What if we turned up the music a bit and then it like drowned out the Rice Krispie squares?
I don't think that'll. Well, you can always turn it up a little bit. You guys tell me if it's obnoxious.
I like how it sounds. All right, try saying something for 30 seconds, GPSC. Maybe we can time the.
Oh, there's
pops
air in the
as,
music.
like, hi-hats.
Come on.
This is what it sounds like when
no,
I'm
it's not.
talking. This is what it sounds like.
An Indian accent to see if it changes.
This is what it sounds like when I'm talking. How is my Indian accent?
You heard it here, folks.
Terrible.
You can tell that's not the first time he's done that, eh?
Oh, I was
watching
on
at
the
home.
spot, man. I'm a talented individual, man.
Now if we can only get Peace Love to do his.
No, I've been a huge Simpsons fan since the beginning. So I've done it plenty of times. Obviously,
Oh.
everyone loves my movie.
Now you're quiet, Peace Love.
I'm quiet. Is
Oh, yeah.
that better?
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm loud.
That's okay. You're good. So, just to put a bow on the community conversation, whether it's a breakdown in communication or an opportunity to make the invisible visible, I believe that LLMs and AI agents on Twitter, posting just like you and I do, have a unique opportunity to inform the community of what's happening without someone have to stay up all night refreshing GitHub for the latest SIP update. Does that make sense? Hey guys, there was a new SIP proposal added to GitHub that's uniquely suited for a machine. You know what I'm saying? Right? Not to say that we stopped doing this. This is the input, right? For the knowledge base.
Oh, right. No, listen, I don't think that. So I can realize that people maybe get this perception that if we start creating all these bots, that's all it's going to be.
No.
But it's just a tool, just like people have been creating trading bots on all sorts of trading platforms for a long time. But not everyone trades with the bots still, even though that's been around for a long time. I'm sure at one point people were like, oh my God, we're just going to have bots trading and there's not going to be, which maybe we will, but crypto, that becomes more of an issue. Hero, by the way, Hero had mentioned that the music was too loud. I turned it down a little bit. Hero, is that better?
I was jamming. I like it. So, we've talked about what it might be like to create. I'm not sure if you want. I'm going to stop there. Peace. Do you want to talk about this live? DJ?
I'll talk about whatever.
Sure. So,
is there a reason why we shouldn't talk about it live?
Hey, this is. I never know sometimes when I talk to folks. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
yeah, do you mind talking about DJ, the newest synthetic addition to the DeOrganized team?
Sure. So this actually came about 2 weeks ago. We had taken a week off. So our show from 2 weeks ago was the last episode. This is episode 8. And after the show, the conversation. I'm going to turn the Hero saying that the music's a little loud. That should be good. It's present, but not overpowering. Hero, let me know if that's okay. Okay, so we were talking about you had actually built a chatbot, or Stu had built his own chatbot. That was actually the first one I had seen, and you were working on a chatbot for your account. You've just been kind of developing some of these tools, and that seemed, really interesting. And obviously, there's all sorts of other chatbots all over Twitter being developed right now. And one of the things that we could use help with is getting more social media support for our shows and our content, because we're not, on a Tuesday, especially now, I have my morning show. I'm into all the stuff, getting the news and setting up the morning show, all of the conversations based on the groups that are going on around the Stacks ecosystem and the response to the AMA yesterday. So there's a lot going on. Now we have this show, and I'm having Landy's show later, and Kitty's got her show starting this week. I got a show with Zenitron. I got some prep work I got to do there for them. So when am I going to go and actually retweet this and share all that stuff? And I need to do that. It's actually important. When I was able to do that after our shows regularly, because I didn't have as many shows going on and as much stuff to follow up with, we were getting better distribution, better growth, and on the platform. So it's something I do need to get to. I just don't have the time. Don't have a budget right now to hire someone to do it, and I can't expect people to just do it for free. And don't get me wrong, there's been a ton of people been contributing to this project. It's not just me, but there's a lot to do, and it's all voluntary right now. We really don't have a budget. We have a couple of sponsors. Great, we're super appreciative of our sponsors, but it's not a big sponsorship, and it's not covering the cost of even doing it. So not only is this not generating money, it's kind of like a hobby costing you money to some degree. But we do have aspirations for it to be more than that. I think that there's opportunities here as we're growing. And one of the things we need more of is regular, consistent social presence, like a community manager, or even just a social media manager for the project. And it seems that the new tools that are developing makes an AI agent a viable option for that would be relatively low cost to produce, and also something that could be advantageous to the community at large as well.
So what I'd like to now do as we end off is make the invisible visible on my end, at least. We're thinking about creating a new member of the DeOrganized media team. And the purpose of this new member of the team, this synthetic being we're affectionately calling DJ right now, is to allow Peace Love to do what Peace Love does best, which is interact with other humans.
It's true.
And if Peace Love just has more time to interact with humans, knowing that there is a process running in the background to share the information and insight and make that information and human interaction useful for other people who may not have had the chance to join, I see these AI agents being fed on all of the knowledge created here as one of the newest members of DeOrganized Media. And what is this DJ person doing? Introducing people to you guys. That's it, right?
That is it, actually. Right.
Introducing them to you. And if they
To
don't want to
us.
subscribe, that's fine. That's it. Amplification. So I know it is 10:41, and I really want to make sure we stick to 45-minute shows because I think
We started late.
Oh, did
We
we?
started a little late, so
That's
we
okay.
can go a little bit. If you have more.
It's okay. But I want to allow you to preserve your energy too because you have a lot of shows, right? So this is the AI in my background saying, make sure to preserve Peace Love's energy. GPSC, do you mind bringing up the screen share with some of the exhibits and demonstrations? And I'll give a little intro while we're doing this. As I said in the beginning, about 2 months ago, we started the Syndicate AI Deep Dive on DeOrganized Media, broadcast live every week by Bitcoin Live DB. Sorry, as I get a call. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So, start again. About 2 months ago, after us doing Build-a-thons live on Twitter Spaces, Peace Love asked if we wanted to do a live show. And that's what you're watching now, about the 8th or 9th episode of the Syndicate Deep Dive on DeOrganized Media, broadcast by Bitcoin Live DB. 8 weeks later, we now have tangible results. We have tangible results that we're going to show you now of what it's like not only creating, but deploying and social media engagement tuning. So GPSC, when you have the Pandora up, tell me what you see there. Describe what you see there in your own words, GPSC. Oh, I should not ask you.
I unmuted.
Go ahead. Yeah,
You're
you
good,
do it.
man.
Yeah, because he's showing the screen. I forgot. DeOrganized. Go ahead.
How is my mic now?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Actually, it's clear
Is
and
my
not
mic
popping.
any-
Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay,
Go
cool.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured out two things that I can't. So I've got to. So seeing this account grow within the last few weeks, this Pandora account, that it's just an AI agent, is mind-boggling. It's only been running since like the 5th of December, and it's already up to 1,083 followers and getting numbers like 2,353 impressions, all the way up to 96.3K impressions. It's wild, and just like developed over the last few weeks, and seeing that it's a successful proof of concept is awesome to look at. Makes me wonder what's the next project to go the AI route and see what type of content comes from it.
A lot can happen in 30 days. A lot can happen. I don't have any social media account that I've created for myself that's ever performed like this. This is new to me, right? I didn't know that this was going to happen. Usually it takes months and months and months to figure something out. But man, is the world moving fast. If we don't mind going to the next screen. So that's making the invisible visible. What is Pandora? Pandora is what happens when you actually implement the ideas that we talk about, which is creating AI agents and mixing humans. By the way, this is not just purely AI. This is what happens when you have a digital menage a trois between protein-based beings and silicon-based beings. That's kind of the way I look at it. So, let's take a look at the other screens, one by one. What's the next one, GPSC?
So this next one is Prompt Like an Egyptian. So the Syndicate, the author is Michael Jagdao, and then we have some details on how large language models work. And talking about how they'll pretty much outwork anybody. Is what I'm seeing.
So, the whole point of Prompt Like an Egyptian is basically going from language to hieroglyphs. You know what I mean when I say that?
From language to hieroglyphs, can you break that down a little bit?
So imagine we're in Egypt at the basement of a pyramid, and we're looking at one of the walls. We don't necessarily see language. We see iconography.
Well, it's a symbolic. It's a language of symbols.
A language of symbols, not unlike the alphabet, right?
Well, you're right, because the alphabet those letters actually started as imagery of something else, and then they became phonetic. Thanks to the Phoenicians.
And so, what Prompt Like an Egyptian is basically saying is that we've been in France speaking English and wondering why the large language models or AIs don't respond to us. Does that make sense? When we talk to Claude or DeepSeek or OpenAI's models like ChatGPT, what are we doing? We're essentially using English in France or English in Vietnam from the computer's perspective. And so the computer or the LLM has to do this whole operation of translation. It would turn out that these LLMs are constructed using logic. Imagine that. Propositional, predicate, and modal logic, to be specific. And this goes back to the Hungarian Martians like von Neumann and Chomsky and Frege and Alfred North Whitehead and Bertrand Russell and Church-Turing and Alonzo. Like, this goes... Because what is math but trying to express things logically? It turns out, what is a large language model? It is language that has been reduced to numbers that still have a logical construct at the basis. Does it make sense? We can't think about computers without thinking about logic. So what Prompt Like an Egyptian is saying is that instead of using English in France or English with an LLM, if you were to talk to the LLM or ChatGPT using these principles of predicate, propositional, modal logic, you can 10x to 100x your outputs with these agents. And GPS
isn't that really just using proper grammar?
Yes, but when you say proper grammar, that means something different to you and me than, you know what I mean? Because you and
Sure.
I, let's say, are old enough to have studied in a time where grammar was taught to the minutest of detail.
Yeah.
My grade 5 English class was more advanced than my OAC English class. Isn't that fucked?
Yes.
My grade 5 English class was teaching me predicates and nouns and adverbs, and that completely disappeared as I got older. So
now the kids don't know. The kids don't know how to. They've gotten rid of all sorts of actual. Like, they keep degrading the grammar rules to accommodate the lack of skill. It's weird. It's almost like we're too smart and they don't need us to be as smart as they have us now.
I mean, there's probably a reason that Chomsky came up with his language first. And what was the book he wrote?
I don't remember.
It was basically on ideological subversion, wasn't it?
I don't remember the name of it. I had
Yeah.
purchased it at one time, I think.
Yeah, right. Everyone would have had a Chomsky book. What is it called? Manufacturing Consent.
Yes, that's it.
So it's not a strange thing to imagine someone who understands grammatical logic and the media to write a book on manufactured consent. And so let me just propose to you that propositional predicate and modal logic is a way to manufacture consent from an LLM. Sorry.
Well, you're manufacturing. No. I don't think a programmed model can consent. It can only appear to consent. Stop fucking those LLMs, Michael.
And that's another deep dive. GPS, if you don't mind me showing the rest of the
I'm
pages.
sorry, I couldn't help myself.
There's the Charizard and the logic of the dojo and the logic of Ansatsuken and building of iPods using this logic. And what I'll end off is that there was a recent report that documented all of the different prompting techniques for LLMs, vocabulary, strategies, what have you, and none of them mentioned the word predicate at all. Turns out that what we're talking about right now is either being gatekept or just not seen by some of the latest research in LLMs. So
Probably a little bit of both.
To put a bow on it, over the last 8 weeks, this is pretty much the end of phase 1 of the Syndicate AI Deep Dive, presented by DeOrganized Media, broadcast live on Bitcoin Live DB. 8 weeks ago, we started talking about AI. Now we have a synthetic being with over 1,000 followers and growing by 75 followers a day. What happens if we add a TikTok shop? What happens if we add Shopify? What happens when they start talking to people live with a face and a body and a mouth that move with the words? Over the next month, that is phase 2. I want to thank GPSC and Peace Love for the opportunity to share this journey with you. But we are about to take the next step, because this way of expressing logic can encapsulate entire experiences. So how might we go from 1 Pandora to 100? That's next. Families.
I wonder
swarms.
how many Pandoras. Sorry, I don't mean to cut off
Pandora. No, it's fine.
But I wonder how many Pandoras will end up being more interested in other Pandoras than people.
Well,
Isn't it natural?
for the entire, if you look at the course of human history, it's humans interacting with other humans, humans trading with other humans, humans bartering with other humans, humans transacting with other humans. What if we have agent transacting with other agents? I don't know what that looks like, but that's happening right now, and that's why DeFi has become DEFI to DEFAI. DeFi is not just about humans using smart contracts with programs. It's also about agents with their own conception of self, whatever you want to say of that, engaging in their own decision making. Baudrillard said that the apocalypse wasn't caused by a pandemic or a nuclear war. It was caused when humans ceased to be the sole reason of things and the machines took on a reasoning of their own. But I'll stop there. GPSC, peace. What have you observed over the past 8 weeks?
Oh, just amazing iterations on things are happening just more rapidly, faster and faster. What's up? Welcome, Stu. Stu looks like he's in the airport.
Hey guys.
All right, Stu, your turn. I've laid the groundwork for you to talk about the Irish logic.
Oh, good luck. No, listen, I'll talk about that in all time. It's just not the right time at the moment, because I'm going to be bored in here now in a second, But yeah, guys, listen.
Tell them about the latest game, at least.
Yeah, listen, we're bringing out a new game. Bringing it out now soon. It's called Spuddy. Spuddy is your Spuddy. Yeah, absolutely, man. Spuddy is an on-take of Pac-Man. So no rewriting the wheels, but Spuddy, the ghost that's coming after Spuddy is the banks. So he's going after them, and whenever he gets his power-ups from pizza, so you're tying it all in together, so it's pretty fun. But okay, first of all, I tried this on my own without this whole logic. I couldn't get it at all. It was working slightly just not right, and then I used this logic, and my goodness, it didn't 10x it literally 100x'd it. It was unreal. It's just like, the way I can describe it, it's like trying to fix your car, but using a Marvel comic instead of using your Haynes manual. That's the only way I can describe this. I thought I was using AI to, and I'm still not even nowhere near down in where I should be. And I'm probably the most useless guy at this here, to be honest. But compared to some of the guys out there, but at the same time, with the results I got from this here, hey, phenomenal. So as Michael was saying as well, it's like you going to speak to somebody who speaks French and trying to speak to them in a broken English, French, whatever it is, and them trying to understand it. But if you've got a real translator and saying, listen, here's the real translation, take this here, think about it, and give me the answer back, and then you've got somebody coming back to you and saying, well, listen, here's really what you want. That's what it's all like. So it's getting a language that the AI that really talks, instead of this English we think it talks, because it doesn't talk English, or speak English or whatever, or understand English. But so yeah, guys, it's fun. It's blown my mind. I don't even swear at the computer anymore, believe it or not. I have literally stopped swearing at the computer. And I will say this again, guys, this all came about from the Syndicate, which came about from what he called my very first digital stew, which came about from what he called being on the D grants. Big shout out to Hero if I see him on the space there. So yeah, Hero, big shout out to you, man, and many of us here are all here for that there. So big, I'm excited, guys. I'm sorry I can't speak too long, and I'm just rushing through here. No, I'm not a big dev, fuck no. but yeah, it's fun, guys. And I've happened to be in another space, come up with even more amazing ideas. What an amazing way to do an airdrop using a game. But we'll say no more. Guys,
gotta leave them hanging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, listen, I'm just what do you call it? You too, big guys. Chat to you
later. To me, this phase 1 is not about AI agents. It is about the alchemy of Stu. The alchemy of Stu is talking about a personal transformation. He learned how to code in the past 8 weeks. Sometimes with our help. But if you know Stu's personality, he just doesn't give up. Right? Well, all we're doing is accelerating his path. Make sense? Right. And fundamentally, I want to teach other people how to do this. I don't want to gatekeep this stuff because I think, honestly, there's so much money from people to make with this stuff. Everyone can make all the money that they want and all that kind of stuff. I just want to see more Stews go through more personal transformations of learning new things and becoming new people fundamentally.
So I think we're going to get to the point where you're not even looking at earning money, but creating value.
You understand, right? Money is just an intermediary that we.
It's a representation of value. It's a medium of
fetishization of value.
Well, it's an abstraction of value.
No, but like what Marx, that's a specific phrase. If you look at price fetishism by Marx, he said when we move from bartering to denoting value by price, we can artificially increase price to make more of our perceived value. He called it a price fetishism.
Well, okay. I'm not super familiar, I'm not super read up on Marx. I haven't studied all of his stuff. I have studied a little bit. But from where he was coming from was so I don't think he was coming from the right place in the matter. I think his goal was more to just shift the control structure from one point to another.
It sounds like Bitcoin to me. Sorry.
Well, I think.
What do you mean? Bitcoin is digital Bolshevism?
Well,
Brilliant. What a way to end the show.
no, but I just
Digital
don't.
Bolshevism. Is that what the B is in Bitcoin?
Oh, maybe.
I love it. We always
No, I
find
don't agree
new
with that.
opportunities.
I think it's the exact. So, I think there's a balance, right, between this power of the state and the power of the individual.
Yeah, and like Canada, like every democracy, since we can't find a balance, we go through one extreme to another every 8 to 10 years and call it democracy.
Well, I think that that's actually done by design
How
to
dare you.
maintain a position of control,
No.
right? You swing back and forth so that you constantly have the pendulum that's swinging back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately moving in one direction,
Mm-hmm.
down. Pendulum
Yes.
moving down.
Monty Burns hands. Monty Burns hands. Sorry.
So yeah, let's.
Digital Bolshevism is a great way to end phase 1.
Yeah, I disagree with that assessment, but
I'm glad you're here to
we'll
disagree.
We'll discuss it on episode 9, perhaps.
Nein.
That's
You set me up
that's
for
the
all of this.
sometimes without trying. That's how I live.
Thank you. Peace, love, for believing in
Thank
us.
you, Michael.
You know,
Thank you,
believing
GP.
in GPSC and I. Yeah.
I love you guys. You all have a blessed day. We are DeOrganized Media. Coming at
Stay
you live on
Bolshevik.
Bitcoin Live.
Comrades.
Stay Bitcoin.